Oh, look, I suppose like everybody else, disappointment. Huge disappointment, in fact, because, I had spoken a lot about Olympic Dam. Many of us had, particularly on the eastern seaboard, where, I was describing the $30 billion investment as a huge shot of impetus into the arm of South Australia. That said though, Kevin, really quickly, over it. Now, let's move on. I hope people read Paul Hethersay's article in Daily yesterday, because he, like I, believe Olympic Dam will go ahead. It is deferred. It hasn't stopped, hasn't been put on ice, it has been deferred. And I do believe it'll go ahead. So, we need to keep planning for that day, and let's focus on all of the other good things that are going on.
What are some of the industry sectors that you think can quickly rise to the occasion?
Yeah. Well, look, like all good companies, you have a plan B, C, D and E, and the government has, and the state has. The overarching fact that we've got a state plan, I think, is a good platform for us to build upon. But there are other sectors of the economy that there's a lot of investment in by the private sector, and with support of the government and the agencies. Advanced manufacturing and the efforts that are going into that to change the face and style of our manufacturing industry, which is very important to this state and has been over a long period of time, to get it to be as competitive as it possibly can. Agriculture is still going to be very important for us, and all things being equal, we look like we've certainly had a good start to this year in terms of the wheat, canola, barley and the like. Wine industry, you've got to include in agriculture. But things like tourism, innovation, as I said, in advanced manufacturing.
Take us through that advanced sort of manufacturing sector.
Yeah.
Is that still in a boutique stage, or has it actually got some potential to expand beyond that?
Yeah, certainly the life cycle of that industry is just starting to get up from idea and innovation to commercialisation. Codan, exceptional company that's getting the credit that it deserves for all of the previous investment. There are a number of other companies like that too, in various stages of commercialisation. And I know even in some of the work on the Economic Development Board we're looking at how we can support those industries to take advantage of what's going on around the globe and assist them to get to market their ideas and technology.
Tourism appears on the face of it to be an industry that has actually been in the doldrums a little bit. Were it not for a couple of big events such as the Tour Down Under, it doesn't seem as though we're very good at pitching ourselves. The Barossa Valley and McLaren Vale, for example, two extraordinary regions.
Yep.
You still wouldn't call them very tourism focused.
Yeah.
A lot of work to do there?
Yeah, look, I think there is. Throw in Kangaroo Island, and you could throw in the Flinders Ranges, Fleurieu. But I think we've got some great things that we need to sell. I like this rebranding exercise. Not sure rebranding's the right terminology, but everyone, I think, knows what we mean with that. I think it's a worthwhile and timely exercise. So let's work out what makes Adelaide tick. We've got lots of great things going for us, so let's get it on the table and take it to the world, not just to the eastern seaboard or to the west of us. Take it to the world and make sure we package it up so that people come here. And that's what
agriculture you mentioned. Malcolm Jackman, the CEO of Elders, told us a couple of months ago that in his view South Australia was actually better placed to benefit from a food and agriculture boom in supplying the world more than a resources boom. He might have been on the money.
Yeah, I'll come back to the resources bit in a minute, because there's one message I'd love to leave you and your readers. But food is important, and particularly our vicinity to the Asian community and China. They want what we've got, which is a supply of fresh food. We are regarded as clean, green, and there's not many that actually can label themselves that. So look, we've got quality produce. Again, I think the marketing of it and helping and assisting individual companies, the marketing of it, can get us on the map in Asia. The resources, I'm going to touch on that, because I'm still a believer in that resources sector, with or without Olympic Dam. But my confidence with Olympic Dam. There's still 20 operational mines. We had half a dozen a couple of years ago. I know for a fact there's another 30 to 35 that are in various stages of commercialisation and production. I also know there's another 90 to 100 that have tenements that are exploring, that are confident of finding the mineralogy that they expect. So, not every one of those 95 will come to fruition, but a proportion will. And we're regarded internationally as having a great resources sector. And combined with innovation, I think, again, that sector will be a big player in whatever South Australia's future holds.
Final sector to touch on is the housing construction sector. It's been in the doldrums for years. It's probably at its worst. I noticed today that the Bank SA was pitching a fixed rate home loan of 5.59%. Now, I haven't checked the facts, but I reckon that's probably the lowest it's been in 30, maybe 40 years. Is that a good sign or a bad sign?
I think it's a great sign. I reckon you might be right. Certainly in the 10 or 12 years I've been involved with Bank SA, they haven't been any lower. So it's a great rate. Is that a plug? It's a great rate. But look, the housing market at some stage, it tips. It becomes a place to invest. It's for investors, first home buyers, those that are actually just want to relocate, upgrade. It has been in the doldrums for some time. Housing affordability has been an issue. It's high on the government's agenda.
Rob Chapman, from that sort of broad overview, the ceiling hasn't fallen in on the state economy.
No.
When do you think we'll be able to feel better about it?
Yeah. Look, the ceiling hasn't fallen in. That's because South Australians are a resilient bunch. We are made up typically of a small to medium-sized enterprise. And by default, we're pretty resilient. And we've done it tough for 20 or 30 years. We've probably lagged some of our colleagues in the eastern state. But look, we've got to remain half glass full. We've got to be positive. We've got to start sharing the news of the Codans, the mine labs, the companies that are developing these innovations. We've got to promote, those industries we touched on. Education we missed out on, but we've got some wonderful organisations and industries. We've got to sell them.
Rob, thank you.
Thank you.